Picture the familiar hum of a Walmart supercenter: bright lights, endless aisles, blue-vested employees. For millions, it's the backdrop of daily life where affordability is king. But tonight, a quiet tension is building, not from competition, but from global economic forces landing in your shopping cart. Rising prices are the first signs of a storm driven by new U.S. tariffs, taxes on imported goods meant to protect American industries. Walmart, the nation's largest importer, is at the epicenter. Its business model relies on a global supply chain delivering low prices, but that model is now under threat. The company faces tough choices: absorb costs and hurt profits, raise prices and risk losing customers, or pressure suppliers and disrupt supply chains. The decisions made here will ripple through the entire American retail landscape. We're taking you inside this unfolding drama where boardroom decisions meet real-world impact. Tariffs aren't just policy. They're changing the price of everything from bicycles to baby clothes. This is about the connections tying a small town in Arkansas to a factory in Asia, and how a decision in Washington can change your family's budget. Understanding every link in this chain is key. The story of Walmart and tariffs is, in many ways, the story of modern America. Tonight, we'll see how global politics hits home, and why what happens in aisle 7 matters to us all. To understand Walmart's current challenge, we need a quick history lesson. Tariffs, taxes on imported goods, are as old as the United States itself. For much of the 19th and early 20th centuries, tariffs protected American industries and funded the government. But after World War II, the U.S. led a push for free trade, lowering barriers and creating organizations like the WTO and agreements like NAFTA. This era of globalization let companies like Walmart thrive by sourcing goods cheaply worldwide. Critics, though, argued that free trade cost American jobs as factories moved overseas. The debate: lower prices for consumers or protection for domestic jobs? Today's tariffs mark a sharp turn from decades of free trade. The current administration argues tariffs are needed to counter unfair practices and bring jobs back. Supporters see them as a weapon to level the playing field. Opponents warn of higher prices and economic pain. This new approach has put Walmart and American consumers on the front lines. The stakes are high, and the outcome will shape the future of American retail. The old tool of tariffs is back, with new consequences. The trade war began in earnest in 2018, as the U.S. imposed sweeping tariffs on Chinese goods, sometimes as high as 25%. Everyday items, furniture, electronics, clothing, toys, were suddenly more expensive to import. The goal pressured China to change trade practices and negotiate a better deal. But China retaliated, targeting American exports like soybeans and pork. The result: a tit-for-tat trade war disrupting global supply chains. American companies, especially Walmart, faced a new reality. Decades of building efficient, global sourcing networks were upended overnight. The cost of importing from China soared, threatening Walmart's low-price promise. This wasn't just a business challenge, it was a fundamental threat to the company's identity. The rules had changed, and the impact was immediate. For Walmart, and for shoppers, the economic storm had arrived. Walmart, as America's largest retailer, is uniquely exposed to tariffs. A huge share of its goods come from China, so new tariffs mean higher costs, fast. Walmart's leaders have warned they can't absorb all these costs without raising prices. Everyday items, furniture, electronics, even bicycles are affected. The company is scrambling to shift sourcing to countries like Vietnam and Mexico, but that's slow and expensive. In the meantime, higher prices and potential shortages are real risks. Walmart's public statements are watched closely by Wall Street and Washington alike. The company is balancing absorbing some costs, negotiating with suppliers, and raising prices where it must. Its warnings to policymakers are clear. Tariffs have real consequences for American families. The retail giant is adapting, but the pressure is intense. What happens at Walmart sets the tone for the entire industry. The stakes couldn't be higher for shoppers and the economy. Let's look at the numbers. Analysts estimate up to 80% of Walmart's non-food goods come from China. When tariffs hit $200 billion in Chinese imports, Walmart's costs soared. A 25% tariff on an $80 bicycle means Walmart's cost jumps to $100, forcing a price hike to $125 for shoppers. Multiply that across thousands of products and the impact is huge. By 2019, tariffs covered a vast array of consumer goods, making the issue impossible to ignore. Walmart warned that new tariffs could cost a typical family of four an extra $500 a year. The company's financial reports show the pressure, absorbing some costs, raising others, and negotiating hard with suppliers. It's a high-stakes balancing act. Keep prices low, stay profitable, and avoid losing customers. Tariffs are now a line item on Walmart's balance sheet and a burden for American families. The numbers don't lie. This is more than politics, it's your wallet. Every price tag tells the story. The tariff ticker keeps climbing, and shoppers are paying the price. Tariffs don't just raise prices, they ripple through the entire economy. For families, higher costs mean tough choices: cut back, delay purchases, or dip into savings. For lower-income shoppers, even small increases can be a big blow. The supply chain feels it too. Walmart's pressure on suppliers can force layoffs or even business closures. The pain spreads, affecting jobs in manufacturing, shipping, and distribution. Politically, tariffs have sparked fierce debate. Supporters see them as a way to protect American jobs. Critics say they hurt consumers and businesses. The uncertainty makes companies hesitate to invest or hire, slowing economic growth. The stock market reacts nervously to trade war headlines. The impact isn't just on one product, it's on the health and confidence of the entire U.S. economy. Every shelf, every wallet, every job is touched by this storm. The ripple effect is real and growing. Tariffs have ignited a political firestorm, dividing parties and regions. For the administration, tariffs are a symbol of America first. Tough on trade, tough on rivals. This message resonates in areas hit hard by lost manufacturing jobs. Critics, including some in the president's own party, call tariffs a regressive tax that hurts working families. Retaliatory tariffs on U.S. exports, especially agriculture, have deepened the divide. Unusual alliances have formed, with free market conservatives and progressives both opposing tariffs. Walmart, usually neutral, is now at the center, its warnings about price hikes used as evidence against the policy. The company's lobbying in Washington has intensified, pushing for a resolution. Internationally, tariffs have strained relationships with allies and complicated foreign policy. The debate is no longer just about economics, it's about America's role in the world. The consequences of this trade strategy will echo for years. Walmart's experience is a microcosm of the national debate. The political fallout is as real as the economic one. Most economists agree tariffs act as a tax on U.S. consumers. Research shows the costs are passed almost entirely to importers and shoppers, not absorbed by foreign exporters. Experts warn that trade wars create uncertainty, discourage investment, and disrupt supply chains. Some argue that while the goal of fairer trade is valid, tariffs often do more harm than good. Jobs rarely return to the U.S., they often move to other low-cost countries instead. Still, a minority see strategic value tariffs could reduce dependence on China and rebuild U.S. manufacturing. But even they admit the process is slow, expensive, and painful for consumers. The future is uncertain. Much depends on how long tariffs last and what deals are struck. Experts say real solutions require more than tariffs: worker retraining, education, and smart investment. Tariffs alone aren't a magic fix. The economic debate continues, but the short-term pain is clear. The long-term outcome, still up for grabs. So what does this mean for you? The Walmart tariff story is a real-time lesson in how global politics hits your wallet. Decisions in Washington and Beijing shape the prices you pay for everyday goods. Walmart's struggle is a multi-billion-dollar challenge with real consequences for families. The ripple effects touch budgets, businesses, and the national debate. Experts may disagree on the long term, but the short-term reality is higher prices and uncertainty. The future will be shaped by policymakers, businesses, and consumers like you. Next time you shop, remember, every price tag tells a global story. Stay informed, ask questions, and understand how these forces shape your world. The price you see is the end of a journey that affects us all.